I think you're good, Tom, whenever you're ready.
Great, thanks. Thank you for joining us, everyone. Would you please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. All right, Toby, you able to do a roll call for us?
Tom Roche, of course. Anita Tripp. Todd Tyler. Joe Carroll.
Present.
Chris Miles.
Here.
Ella Collins.
Here.
James Donahue.
Here.
Christina Durkee. And Dan Shields.
Here.
Can we just try Anita Tripp one more time?
Anita Tripp.
And then Todd Tyler.
And Todd Tyler.
Anita may be late, Dan. She said she might be late.
Okay. So
I don't think Christina's making it tonight.
yeah. So Christina reached out to me a short time ago and let me know that she'd not be able to make it. She is she's not feeling well this evening, so we wish her the best.
Mm.
All right, so we've got a quorum. We're good to move forward. Okay. All right. Before we get into the recognition, which I'm excited about tonight, Toby, do you know of any community comments?
No, no one reached out to me, and there's nothing in the chat.
Give me 1 second to enable the chat. Anybody who'd like to make a comment can now type in the chat that they'd like to be recognized. We'll give it just a minute.
Okay, we always have a second community comment at the end of the meeting, so we can proceed, and I will address it at the second community comment. So, Dan, do you want to kick this off? You're muted, sir.
Thank you. So one item for the board and for anybody from the public, there is one item on the agenda that's updated. Can you folks see the agenda right now?
Yes.
So in green, I put updated 112, and there's one item I'll show you really quickly. And it's under personnel, and it's going to be personnel letter B. So that is the only change from the agenda that folks had prior to the meeting this evening. So it is a resignation of Cassandra Roselle from the special education position she currently holds. I'd be happy to answer questions as appropriate down there. If there's more questions about it, we'd have to ask those in executive session.
Gotcha.
And back to the top. So the best part, right? The best part of the meetings, not that our meetings aren't super spectacular every time, but we're able to have some young people here with us this evening virtually, and their parents and their teachers. I want to just switch over real quickly to a different document. And if I can make this work correctly, you should be able to see a collage that was sent to me by Mrs. Smotko. And Mr. Roche, if you'd like, I know that I saw Logan on there. If you'd like to go ahead and recognize him, that would be appropriate and fantastic.
Yeah. So tonight we are recognizing Logan Keegan, a third grader from Miss Smotko's class, for being published in the Chronicle newspaper for his writing on the topic, "What Will You Be Doing 20 Years From Now?" I got to tell you, Logan, I love it. I dig how much you're into the Titanic. What got you into the Titanic? I can't wait to see the movie.
Shipwrecks got me into the Titanic.
Okay, great. I love how you're going to make that movie and you're going to give some money to charity. That's awesome. We really dig that. So, but congratulations from everyone from the board and all your teachers and your friends. It's a great accomplishment.
We also have a certificate we can get to him.
Great.
So Logan, I don't know. Can you guys? It's not the best way to do this, but we do have a certificate. We'll get it to you when we're back in session, in-person session. We'll get it to you somehow, and make sure that you're properly recognized. So congratulations to you, and keep up the good work. And congratulations to Mrs. Smotko and everybody else who helped you make that happen, including your parents.
Yeah,
So-
great job, everyone. Great job. All
And
right.
I see we've got another young person on there as well. Give me one
Right.
second to just to switch gears. And are you folks able to see Harper's collage? Oh, thank you. So there's a collage there of Harper's work as well. And Harper's from Mrs. Bruce's class in 3rd grade. I know she's on as well. So Mr. Roach, if you want to go ahead and recognize Harper,
Sure.
that would be fantastic.
Our next certificate of excellence goes to Harper Michael, 3rd grader from Miss Bruce's class, being published in the Chronicle newspaper for her writing on the topic, "What will you be doing 20 years from now?" And Harper will be in animal rescue. She wants to make sick animals healthy again. And what I loved about your writing was you're going to come back home in 5 years and hug mom, and you're certain she's going to cry. So that's great. That's fantastic. So what got you into animal loving those animals and taking care of them? What got you into that?
He's asking the question. What got you into animals?
What got me into animals was that I liked helping animals and wanted to help them so they couldn't be sick anymore, because I hate when animals have pain.
Well, that's great. Thanks so much. I appreciate that, Harper. And congratulations. It's a great accomplishment for you and your family, your teachers, and everyone. We're very proud of you. Great job.
And the same, so we'll have a certificate for you too, Harper, once we're able to get it to you. And again, congratulations to your parents and everybody who helped you do it, and your teacher. I don't know if Mrs. Bruce or Mrs. Smotko, if you're on, if you want to say a few words, and if you don't, that's okay. But if you'd like to, please go ahead and unmute and do so.
Of course, I want to say something. I am so proud of both of you for what a wonderful job you both are doing in school and with writing. And I can't wait to see all the wonderful things you do in the future. We're very, very proud of you both.
And Mrs. Bruce and Mr. Ward and everyone else, I am just as proud as Mrs. Bruce for the work that the kiddos have done. Those who were published last month and those who submitted their work all worked really hard.
Awesome.
Thank you. So congratulations to both of you for a job well done. Not everybody gets into that Chronicle newspaper, so I'd like to take a few minutes out of our meeting and recognize you. For both of you, you're welcome to stay on with your parents for the whole meeting if you'd like to. But you're also welcome to jump off if you have something more exciting you might want to do, or if you have schoolwork to get done this evening. So again, congratulations. And Mr. Roche, I think we're ready to move on with the meeting when you're ready.
Sounds great. All righty. Okay. Next up are reports. Dan, do you want to go down the list of the reports there? The Finance Committee met this evening. We went over our standard reports. Our cash flow is updated up until November currently. And we look forward to seeing an update on December's numbers, possibly at our next Finance Committee meeting. So.
Yep.
You can take over.
And can can everybody see the agenda again?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So thanks, Tom, for that report. And I just want to thank Charlene for producing those reports and getting them out so that we can all have them way ahead of time. A lot of good questions this evening from board members. And we're getting into a nice routine with that, which I think is going to make our budgeting process a lot more productive for us. Moving down, Policy Committee, Just a reminder for folks, our next meeting is Thursday, January 14th. So that's this Thursday at 5:30. We did schedule that through Doodle, and I'm fairly certain. Yeah, I know that I sent out an invite to the folks on the committee. I'm not sure if I sent it out to the full board, but full board members, obviously, you're welcome to be there. Also, members from the public, our committee meetings are open to the public. Athletic committee met January 5th. There are several items that were discussed. There are some that involve negotiations with other school districts. So the conversation about that will be in executive session. That's what we had or have coming up for committee reports.
Great. Thanks, Dan. Okay, well, you can keep going since the superintendent's report is next.
Right, and I'll be brief. Superintendent's report, merger study update. Just wanted to say publicly and make sure we're noting it on at our board meetings that the committee meeting took place last night via Zoom with the annexation consultants for the annexation study between Fort Edward and South Winds Falls. The recording is already posted on the joint annexation site, and the presentation will be posted and notes posted once they are released publicly. And that usually, it may have happened today, I just haven't read all those emails yet. If not, it's usually within a day's time that stuff is released and posted for everybody. Families First Coronavirus Relief Act, that was a federal law that provided additional leave time benefits and allocations for our employees and employees of all school districts, as well as other businesses and employers. That ended on December 30th. It has not been, or the end of December, it has not been renewed by the federal government to this point. So those have gone away. There is different leaves allowable for coronavirus. New York State has one, but it does not provide as many benefits as the federal one did. I'm working on a memo of the changes and some different scenarios for our staff so they can have that memo, as well as a request form to request certain kinds of leave when certain situations arise. For example, the Families First Coronavirus Relief Act would have provided up to 10 days at partial pay for employees who had to stay home because they had to provide childcare for their own children. The New York State one does not provide that. There's many other differences, but I wanted to give one example. The New York State one only covers individuals if they are awaiting COVID results or being quarantined or otherwise told not to be at work by a government official or Department of Health. So recent adjustments to school protocols, as you all know, we went to masks all day, every day, with breaks scheduled for students in each classroom as scheduled by the teacher. Just wanted to make sure that was out publicly as well, but I do know that board members get my robocalls now, so you're hearing that in almost real time with everybody else who's hearing it. Additionally, Mr. Galarno and I met and spoke about it. We've also, he circulated a message on our behalf, just asking that staff members reduce the number of people who are eating lunch together or having other breaks together, because if you are in the room with masks off for a certain period of time, Washington County quarantines everybody in that room. So it could be very difficult to keep our school open if we have 5 or 6 or even 2 or 3 people in the same room eating with masks off for a 30-minute time period. COVID testing requirement. Prior to Christmas, I circulated a letter through social media as well as through web post asking parents to take a look and review a video that shows how the COVID testing would take place here at school if required, if we're designated as a yellow, orange, or red zone. Additionally, there was a survey, a Google form that would allow parents to give permission for children to be tested. As of today, we have not received enough responses from parents that would allow us to remain open if we are designated as a yellow zone. We do not have enough parents who have said, yes, you may test my child. So I just wanted to have this publicly on the agenda this evening so I could let the board know and let anybody from the public know that our community needs to prepare to keep their children home because we do not have enough of those consents back from parents. I'm hoping that by giving enough advance notice that it will not be a surprise for people. If we're designated yellow, that school just goes full remote for an undetermined amount of time. But really, I'm hoping that this message will also remind people that that form is out there, remind them to go look at that form. And I'm hoping that more people will respond to it by saying, yes, you may test my child. And you can watch the video. It shows how Adirondack Health will perform the test. We contract with them. They'll come here to school. But the video shows that it's not really invasive. There's a swab that has to go up inside the nose, but not up into your sinus cavity. It goes around each nostril for the count of 5. And that's the end of the test. And the results are available in 15 minutes. So again, my message is twofold. One, letting folks know, please be prepared to go full remote if we're designated in a yellow zone, because we do not have enough consents from parents to keep the school open at this point. Second part of my message is, please, if you haven't had a chance to look at it yet, and that's why you haven't responded, please take a look at it. And please respond if you're willing to do so. So we will have enough students to test so we can stay open if we're designated as a yellow, orange, or red zone.
Dan, how many students are required to be tested per week? Should we have enough, parental consent? On average, how many students? I know it's a cluster of different people in the building, but on average, how many students a week would be tested?
Yep. So it's 20% of all of your in-person people if you're yellow, and it only has to occur once, as long as your test results show that you are below the area surrounding you that puts you into the yellow zone. If you're designated as an orange or red, the percentage you have to test is actually lesser than 20%, but that testing has to be continuous for a certain number of weeks. I do not have that committed to my memory.
Gotcha.
So best case scenario, if, not best case scenario, but best case scenario of the color designations is we would be designated as a yellow. We have enough students to test. We come in under the number of our surrounding area, and we've proven that the spread is not through the school district, and we're back in business.
Gotcha. Okay.
Worst case scenario is we don't have enough students to test, and we're full remote for an undetermined amount of time.
So since we have the AB schedule going on at any one given day with staff and students included, what are we talking about? How many people in the building?
Yeah. So yeah, you would ask why I don't have it right here in front of me. So our 20% number, including across students and staff, is somewhere around 85.
Wow.
So it's not a huge number, but I have to have an appropriate sample of students who have the consents for me to draw from for that random draw.
Gotcha. So it's not an incredible number. Okay. Gotcha.
It is not. It is not.
Okay. Thank you.
Hoping that more folks will go on and take a look at it, and then I'll be able to have a different set of information for you next month.
Perfect. Thank you.
Next on there, state aid claiming. Didn't bring it up in finance committee, probably could have, and Charlene's well aware. But there's two things so far that have been a little bit surprising to us in transportation aid claiming for last year. And that information came out a while ago, so we've talked about it. And the second is one-to-one aids. And I don't know the mechanism for it yet. but they're talking about normally one-to-one aids. That's a high cost service for an individual student, and usually we are aided well on that. They're now asking that students with one-to-one aids during the COVID closure last year, there's going to be a mechanism where to claim for aid on those, we have to provide some sort of assurance or some sort of proof on how that service was provided, or we won't be able to get the normal amount of aid. And I'm talking in very general terms. More information will come out to the business officials and probably through the CSE chairs as well about how that operates. But to me, that is a surprise for us. That's information they're telling us now about how they're going to provide aid to us based on services that they required us to keep in force last year. The state of New York asked us to keep everybody employed to the fullest extent possible during the closure. That included our one-to-one aides, and now they're saying that they may not fully aid us for that expense in the way that they normally do. So just wanted the board to have a heads up. More to come, and maybe it will go away, but I wanted to make sure that you at least had the information. Budget development process and schedule. So there was one thing after we voted on the budget schedule, budget development schedule last month. I sent it out the next day to everybody with the change. We had just incorrectly called, we had a meeting scheduled. Somehow we had crossed up Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So the new schedule went out to everybody. We will not be having a budget development meeting on Martin Luther King Day, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, excuse me. It'll be on that Tuesday following. But the schedule is out to everyone. But I wanted to make sure I announced that publicly. That's what I have.
Dan, can I go back to a second for number 2, just to clarify for me on the Coronavirus Relief Act? When that was broken up into 2 parts. Remember, I think there was a one was paid, one was not paid. It was 12 weeks. You can get 10 weeks was partially paid. Now that that's ended, are we going back to the old family medical leave so the 12 weeks are there just not paid? And is that's what's in effect now?
Yeah. So the Family Medical Leave Act stays as it was prior to the F.
Okay.
Before the Family's First Coronavirus Relief was added to it as an extension of Family Medical Leave Act. It goes back to it.
Just so everyone's aware, that's still in effect. So if something comes up, there's an emergency, they still have something to fall back on. Just as unpaid. Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Next up is the treasurer's report. Go ahead. Someone else? Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah. Hey, Dan, I was just going to ask for the COVID testing requirement, is there any way we could do a robocall for that?
Very good. I think probably a good idea would be to do a robocall saying a shorter version of what I just said, calling to let you know we don't have enough, so please prepare for your children to be on remote instruction. But there's still time for more people to respond so that we have the opportunity to stay open if we're designated a yellow zone. I think I would also ask, I'll work with Mr. Herman to push the letter in the Google form back out again, just to get it to the top of things for people. Because we did put it out on, I think it was December 21st, right before the holiday break. So yeah, Dan, that's a great idea. I appreciate it, and we can definitely do that.
On the heels of that, Dan, might want to include something about the cafeteria, because that may be the only way to get through to people. I mean, it benefits us greatly by having the kids take advantage of the fact we got those breakfasts and lunches here, especially financially, along with the nutrition and everything else adds to the kids. So if we can get that on there.
Yeah. In that same vein, we're seeing a drop off of attendance in these meetings. We were hoping it would stay up in the 70s like it was, continuing to do it video and giving access and sending out the DASINs. And we're not getting that same amount of people we were just a couple of months ago. I don't know if there's any way to check the analytics on who's watching the recordings and maybe getting this information, but it seems like, we're going to have to continue with the robocalls and other ways of getting it out, because attendance has gone down drastically, I would say, in the last couple of months. And I'm sure there's a million reasons why, but we're going to have to continue other ways of communication.
I will see if I can if I can get some help trying to look at the analytics for the watchers on YouTube.
Cool. Thank you. All right. So treasurer's report. We had our pre-meeting, our finance committee meeting prior to the board, where the presentations were made. Did anyone have any questions for Charlene before we move to the next report? No. Okay. We will move forward. So next up, Mr. Galarno, how are you?
I am well. All right. So first, we'd like to say thank you to our community for the seamless transition that we had to remote instruction on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. The students have been signing into their Google Classrooms, their Class Dojo accounts. Teachers have been delivering high quality instruction. And the teachers and staff have also been providing some printed copies of learning material for our students. So trying to go above and beyond and meet our students where they are. A big thank you to our cleaning staff for their continued safe practices and the time spent in the evenings and the early morning, just preparing our building for reentry every day, whether it's just staff or whether it's our full staff and student population. The next thing I wanted to touch on was our assessment planning and implementation. Although we are remote for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we are still planning for assessments. We have the grades 3 through 8 New York State computer-based test later this spring, at least for now, unless New York State changes the rules. But for that computer-based test to be administered, we're going to administer it through a program called Questar. This week, we are going to run a 40-minute simulation within the Questar system just to gauge our school district's readiness for this spring exam. And the students and teachers will have the opportunity to practice and strengthen their familiarity with that testing platform. I sent out a letter through our teachers, so it's something that's on all of the Class Dojo, the Google Classrooms. We also posted it on our website. And in there, it has our, in the letter, it actually has more information about the actual testing window that will happen this spring, but it also shows what the Questar website looks like and gives the opportunity for parents, if they were to click the link that's on that letter, they can go right to Questar and they can practice taking the test with their child. They can help them and show them how to do it and kind of walk through with them, or they can just kind of see what does a computer-based test actually look like. So if you have questions, it's a great opportunity to go on and try it out. We also have our iReady assessment, which is coming up. The students and teachers have been working on their MyPath skills through iReady, but this mid-year iReady diagnostic window, that time for us to test in reading and math, it's fast approaching. It's actually going to start on next week, so January 19th through February 5th is our window. And during that time, the results that we will get from that will help us target our instruction and provide goal setting for our students throughout the second half of the year. We're excited to see that we are still doing these things even with all of the many changes that are going on. We're still providing high quality instruction, assessing our kids, and really trying to improve our methods to get the most out of our students. Martin Luther King Jr. Day was brought up a little bit earlier as well. It's a little bit of a change in the high school because we don't have school on a Monday. So therefore, Tuesday will still be a B day. Wednesday, we will have school in the high school, and it will be an A day. Thursday, the 21st, will also be an A day. And then Friday, the 22nd, will be a B day. So it's a BAAB week, which is a little bit different. But we also put out some information on that today just to remind everyone for next week. And my last thing, and I feel like I'm talking a lot today, but my last thing is the second quarter is fast approaching the end. January 29th is the end of the quarter for our middle school and high school students. And with the end of the quarter, the question comes up, remote learning. Who's going to be in person? Who wants to be remote? We're looking to post our Google form on the website again for our parents to request in-person or virtual learning for the third quarter. The form can be filled out by the parents, and that's going to be for grades K through 12. We do have several grades that have a current wait list. So parents will be notified if the request to return to in-person learning can be accommodated. We will look at possible options, any possible options to bring students back to the building safely. And the start of the third quarter is that first week in February, and that's when we're going to be planning to try to bring people back. We see a great value for our students that are in the building. There are some students that can excel within the virtual environment, and there are some students that definitely would excel at a much higher level in the brick and mortar of our building, right in front of our teachers. So we're definitely looking at all ways to bring kids back, but we need to do it safely and maintain our social distance and all the COVID regulations as well. And that's all I have.
I had one question for Mr. Glarno. I might have missed it, so I apologize if that's the case. Was the first quarter student honor roll recognition ever posted to our social media or anything like that? I thought at one point there was something that was going to be put out, like a slide or something. I just didn't know if I missed it or if it didn't get posted.
You know what? If it didn't get posted, we're going to have it get reposted before the new one comes out. So we'll try to get that out this week here and get it reposted and even put on our website. I don't think it would hurt to have it up there and make sure those kids are getting the recognition.
Cool. Thank you.
Yep.
Pointers. Thank you, John. Appreciate the work you're doing.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to consent agenda.
Hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry. Buildings and grounds report. Very important.
So Craig just sent me a message a little while ago, said he was having trouble with his Wi-Fi. I don't see him on there. Craig, if you're on, go ahead and unmute. Okay. Other than that, his printed report was in the board packet. If you have questions about it, I can do my best to answer them or get the answers and get back to you at a different date.
Yeah. I'm glad he put in there about the lead test. I know there was a Post-Star article that came out about that. Timing seemed a little weird. Yeah, so I'm glad he addressed that and those things are being addressed. He did speak about the fire inspection. That's great that that was successful and everything. Those 3 minors aren't even requiring a reinspection, so that's fantastic. Everything else looked pretty good. Anybody questions for the buildings and ground report? No? Okay. All right. So now I just wanted to recognize, I believe board member Tyler did join us. I'm not sure what time he did, though.
Toby, did you get Todd's time, or Todd, can you give us a time?
Yes, I did. It was at 6:41.
Thank you. Yes.
Good. Okay, back to the agenda. No discussion, so we will move down to consent agenda. Can I get a motion for the approval of board minutes for the board meeting held on December 14th, 2020?
Can we group the consent agenda?
I usually would, but I want to see if there's any type of corrections we need in the minutes. So I'll group the rest. But I need a motion for the minutes.
Motion.
Dan?
Al, second.
Al, second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're all good. Okay. Can I get a motion for B through D, please?
Motion.
Second.
Joe and Todd? Ouch. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, good. Okay. Now to action items. Can I get a motion for A and C, please? Motion to approve. A and C. Chris?
Second.
Joe? Any discussion on those? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're good. I think we're 8-0 now. Okay. Can I get a motion to accept a donation from Irving Tissue in the amount of $15,000 and to amend the 2020-2021 school budget to reflect the donation and the expenditure of the donated funds? Irving is making the donation to support the offering of athletic and extracurricular activities for Fort Edward students, and we thank them tremendously for that generous donation.
So moved.
Motion.
James and Dan, any discussion? Other than to again reiterate, thank you. They've been a great member of our community. They've helped out so many organizations in our community continually, and this was very welcome. So thanks again. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. We're all good. Okay. All right, we have a correction to make. A motion to rescind the following motion from the December 14th, 2020 regular board meeting, as the amount announced by the Booster Club at the meeting included checks that were donated to specific students' accounts. The motion, so it's a motion to rescind the motion as listed. And I need a motion. Dan and Chris, any discussion?
I'll jump in. So the reason why I want to be crystal clear about this, because the money, the checks that came from the Booster Club, they're going directly to student accounts, as you've heard us say several times, are not district funds. I just want to make sure that people know that the board does not dictate what happens with those funds that were donated directly to those extracurricular accounts. In totality, they donated the same amount of money. It just is all at the board's will.
And there's some like feedback or something, and it's really hard to hear.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah. So, yeah, if everyone would mute, and then once I call for the vote, just unmute and give me your vote. All right. So motion's on the table. All in favor?
Aye.
I believe we are all good. If there's any nays, let me know now. Okay,
So
we're all good.
So we're seven board members, correct, Toby?
We're seven, correct. Yes. Anita and Christina are not here, right? Okay. Okay, so the next motion is a motion to accept a donation from the Fort Edward Booster Club in the amount of $2,862 and to amend the 2020-2021 school budget to reflect the donation and expenditure of the donated funds. Booster Club is making the donation to support the offering of athletic and extracurricular activities for the Fort Edward students. I need a motion.
Motion.
James.
Second.
Joe. Any discussion?
So this is obviously the same money as last month, just to be crystal clear with everybody.
So Dan, so at this point then, I see that, yeah, it does add up in terms of all that. And I see that some of the money has been allocated right to the yearbook and the class of 223-24. The other 2862, how is that? So you're saying we don't make a decision where that goes, but it's saying it's going to athletics and extracurricular activities. Who makes that decision on where that goes from there?
So it's a great question, Todd. And so that money was used along with the money that the Booster Club donated previously
for like bowling and things. Yes. Right?
So this paid for your bowling.
Yeah, the winter sports.
This money has been spent because when the Booster Club initially donated that first donation, they thought that they were providing money for those classes and clubs. But because they provided a check to the school district and provided the donation to the school district and not to those specific clubs by separate check, we as a school district could not give that money to the clubs. So I sent an email to Michelle before the last board meeting, Michelle Taylor from the Booster Club before the last meeting, with the appropriate numbers so that the proper donations would go to the clubs and classes, and the amount of money they said they were dedicating to bowling to cover the cost of bowling would be covered. So this gets us to where we are today with bowling operating. This money has been spent.
Thank you.
Just need a vote.
Okay, so I need a motion.
You got the motions, you need a vote.
I'm sorry, I need a vote. Yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. 7-0. Okay, great. Next up, I need a motion. Dan, could you scroll down for me for a second? My other computer
sorry.
froze. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I'm looking at my paper copy and where'd I go? Oh, way down. There it is. Sorry.
There it is, right there. Need a motion to acknowledge and accept donations from the Fort Edward Booster Club to specific student activity accounts as follows: $300 to the yearbook account, $1,082 to the class of 23, and $1,082 to the class of 24. Need a motion.
Motion.
Dan. Todd. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, well, good. All right. Next up is personnel. I need a motion to accept the resignation of Nancy Williams from the position of Ski Club Co-Advisor effective December 22nd, 2020. Need a motion.
Motion.
Todd,
Second.
Noah. Any discussion on this other to say that thank you so much, Miss Williams. She's been fantastic in that ski club. My daughter has been a member of that club, gosh, as long as I could remember. And Miss Williams has been fantastic with the kids and always promoted that club. Just did a fantastic job. So we appreciate her service.
I'm pretty sure when she spoke with me by telephone, I think she said as a student, she participated in that club.
Wow, that's great.
I believe she told me that. Was she previously a student?
Yes.
Anybody? Yeah,
Yes.
so she did tell me that. So thanks to her for all for years of service. And she knew it was good for her as a kid, so she wanted it to be something that went forward for other Fort Edward students.
Many great memories from a lot of people.
Yeah.
Not an easy thing to do either, ski club. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who seconded the motion? I missed that.
I think I had Ella.
Yes, Ella was the second. Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. So all in favor?
Aye.
All good? 7-0? Okay. We wish Nancy well, for sure. Okay. I believe that brings us to our second public comment period.
No, the green item, Tom.
Oh, I'm sorry, the green one. Yep. I need a motion to accept the resignation of Cassandra Roselle from the position of 1.0 FTE Special Education teacher effective end of day of February 21, 2021. Need a motion.
Motion.
Got
Motion.
James and Chris. Any discussion? Dan's dog is giving us a motion too. Okay.
Sorry. She's getting in the garbage.
Yeah, I'd rather on my lap too, I'm sure. Okay. So we've got two motions. Again, we thank her for her service and wish her very well. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. We're all good there? Okay, we're good. 7-0. Okay, that brings us to our second public comment period. Toby, anyone contact you?
No, and there's nothing in the chat.
So I just enabled the chat a moment
Okay.
ago. So we'll give it a minute or two, Tom, if that's okay with the board.
Yes, absolutely. We'll take this time to say that we are going to enter into executive session this evening for negotiations and personnel. So everyone just be aware of that before we actually make the motion. Dan, anything else you want to end the meeting on?
No, nothing. Oh, I got something. I don't have anything else other than I want to echo what John said about thanks to everyone from our community and from our staff and especially from our faculty. Making that pivot on a Sunday afternoon is not an easy thing to do, although we are getting pretty good at it, unfortunately. And so thanks to everybody for that. We really want our kids to be here, but sometimes it's just not possible. It looks like, Toby, I see Amanda Durkee has a question to address the board.
Yes, I see that.
Okay, Amanda, Ms. Durkee, we recognize you.
Hi, good evening. Just wondering with regards to the, if you do the robocall, Dan, for the COVID testing, the possibility of even sending home a paper copy of that form that needs to be filled out with the students. I know there's many people who are technology people. There's people, myself included. I'm a paper girl. If that form came home in that school to home folder, I'd be faster to fill that out than to go online, print it, and do it. So just a thought, if that's possible to send to families, maybe to send that home with students when they're back to in person. And then just a quick question, the lunch, the breakfast and lunch program, I did listen to that presentation from the two men last month, and I thought that was a great presentation that they did. And I know you're going to do a robocall about, or maybe include this in the robocall also. I just wanted to make sure I was understanding it correctly. Basically, what I'm gathering from that and from the conversation tonight is that if we get more students to partake in those meals, to get breakfast and lunch, then we as a district will get further reimbursement. Is that, am I understanding that correctly?
That is correct. Yes.
Okay. Okay,
Yep.
Perfect.
Thank you very much, Ms. Turkey.
Yep, that's all I have. Thank you for the clarification.
You got it. Okay, so I need a motion to enter an executive session to discuss matters referring to negotiations and personnel with a specific entity.
Motion.
Joe.
Second.
I heard a second. I just don't know who said it.
Dan.
Dan. Okay. Dan second. I will say Board of Education members and other individuals invited into executive session are reminded that all matters discussed during executive session must be kept in the strictest confidence. I see there's no further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Dan, do we expect to do any business on the other end of exec?
I don't believe the board's going to do any business on the other end.
No, I don't.
But obviously that is at the discretion of the board. I don't have any motions that I'm planning to ask you folks to come out and do after session.
Perfect. Okay, so there won't be any business after exec, but folks, if you wanted to hang, we will be back at the conclusion of exec.
I just want to make sure the board, Tom, does the board require Charlene or John in executive session?
Not for these specific discussions, no.
Okay. All right, so we'll let them go. Excellent. Board, I will send you an additional link shortly. And then, like you said, to the public, we'll come back to this link to adjourn the meeting. I am going to stop the recording.
Dan, let me make sure I got it. Did I get a vote on that?
I have it down at 7-0.
You have 7-0. Okay, so we're good.
Well, I
Okay,
showed that Todd left the meeting.
Before the vote or after the vote, Toby?
I was here for the vote. Yes, I was only
You're there.
I went to yes.
Okay.
Okay. I voted yes.
All right.
All right, excellent. So I'm going to stop the recording at this time. We'll start it back up, and then we'll get it posted as soon as we can.
Sounds great.
I'll see the board in the additional link I'll send shortly, and then we'll see the public when we come back out.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, nobody.
Yeah, it should be recording at this time if you want to take over, Tom.
Yeah, I think, are we missing someone though? I think we're missing
You're right.
Todd.
Todd hasn't made it back across yet.
Let's give him a second. Well, before Todd gets in, I just want to thank you all again, man. We're doing a lot of work as a board communication. Dan, thank you for all the communication you're doing to us, but it's a crazy year, and I appreciate all the work that you guys are putting in and your input and at the meetings and chiming up and all that. So thanks again for doing a fantastic job, everyone. I'm glad Tom
I just want to reiterate what you say about those finance meetings are great, and Charlene's wonderful. The information she's giving us now, I mean, I think when I first got on the board 2 years ago, so much more information now.
Yeah, for sure.
So she's
all right,
great.
we gave Todd enough time, so I think we're going to adjourn. So I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
We got James and Ella. And that would be all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, folks. Good night. Thank you again. Stay safe out there.
Good night, everybody.